Hey you, and welcome back to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. My name is Satchmo. This is episode 8. I think today we are going to go to Minmus. We went to the moon last time and we landed on it. I think we're going to go out to Minmus this time. I was just looking at the contracts here, and we don't have anything to do with Minmus, which is kind of unfortunate. But what I think I'm going to do is we're going to go to Minmus anyway. And my rationale being, since we just went to the moon, and Minmus is a little bit further out, but it's actually a little easier to get to. We'll look at that in a minute. We could do both those episodes back to back, and if you watched the last episode and maybe didn't get all of the whole landing procedure, you can see it in this episode. That's rationale 1. And rationale 2 is that we're going to get a little bit more science because it'll be just an opportunity for us to get more science. But I don't want to lose these contracts, because if you do a mission, sometimes you'll come back and these contracts will all have changed, or a lot of them will have changed. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, I have a max of 7. I'm going to grab the one I'm interested in now, and I think I'll spend the next few episodes doing these missions. So today we're going to Minmus. The rest of the week we're going to maybe do some of these missions and a couple other ones that I think we need to do. So rescue Wilney from orbit of the moon. Now, again, the lower ones down have more reputation, and they're just kind of ostensibly better for you. So this one all the way down here at the bottom says rescue him from the orbit of the moon. So that's a fun one. So it's a rendezvous mission around a different body other than Kerbin. Let's see. These guys want to go to the moon. They want to land on the moon. So here's 5 people who want to go land on the moon. That's a little bit more than I want to do right now. Temperature surveys, position a satellite in a specific orbit of the moon. An unmanned probe that has an antenna can generate power. This might actually be kind of a fun one to do as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab them. You got to be careful about how many you grab, because you have a max of 7, but where are we at here? Here we are. The duration is 10 years, so it'll expire in a day. So these missions will go away by the time I get back from the moon. But if I accept it, then I have 10 years to do it. So if you find something that you're interested in, go ahead and grab it. Do that, and I might not do all these on camera if it's the same stuff that I've already done. Here's one that's just a decoupler landed at Kerbin. That's free money, I'll take that. Satellite in a polar orbit of the moon. This would be fun to couple with that other mission, so I could do both those missions at the same time if I build like a 2 satellites that are connected. Explore Kerbin. I really like to do these missions. I mentioned that before. I think I'm going to do this one. Transfer any crew between vessels near Kerbin. That's eventually just going to happen anyway. So, anyway, we're going to scoop up a couple missions, and just so that they're in the bank and we can do them as we please. Let's go to this. Let's pull up a calculator, and let's talk about Minmus, because Minmus is actually the easier of the 2 moons to get to. People recommend going to that one first, but if you're new to the game, I think the normal one, normally you would just go to the moon first, right? But we're going to go to Minmus, and you look at the numbers here at the end. I guess I don't need the calculator because it shows. But here we go: 4670 to go to Minmus and 5150 to go to the moon. A lot of that is, so it's 3400 to escape Kerbin on both of them, obviously. Going to Minmus is a little bit harder because it's a little further out, so it's 930 as opposed to 960. But because Minmus is so much smaller, this maneuver here, the circularization maneuver and the landing maneuver, are significantly smaller on these, right? 160 versus 310, and the biggest chunk 180 versus 580. So while it's a little bit more to get to Minmus, when you're actually there, it's a lot cheaper to do stuff than it is at the moon. So this is going to be the easier of the 2 moons to get to. So in my mind, I'll just use the rocket we already built to accomplish that, right? So let's go to Moon Explorer 2, load it up, and there's no reason I can't just use this exact craft to do everything to go to Minmus the same way I went to the moon. It'll be even more overkill now than it was then. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on the moon. I'm trying to think if I missed anything on the moon mission that I would like to add to this, but I don't think there's anything. I think I want to send this, just like I sent it to the moon, I want to send this to Minmus. However, I will change the name. This is going to be a branch of the other one. It's going to become the Minmus Explorer and eventually I think we will be doing different things with Minmus than we will be doing with the moon. So these craft might differ, but for today we're just gonna do the same mission, just there instead. So okay, so Jeb's gone. He's leveled up a little bit more than Valentina, so let's take him out and put Valentina in, get her some XP as well. She'll probably pass up Jeb on this mission, but that's okay. Alright, let's go ahead and launch. So, oops, I forgot to set my timer. That's alright. So the moon mission, a couple things I like to do a little bit differently than I did that time. Well, the first thing is my mission is I managed to, these boosters decoupled and destroyed part of my craft, so let's not do that. The second thing is I came in a little steep on the moon mission to the moon itself. It came in at about 5k, and that's a little lower than I would normally like. It was fine, clearly. It worked just fine. But as a friendly commenter, one of my friends in YouTube, in the comment section, pointed out that is pretty shallow, and I agree, it is a little shallow. So we're going to try to correct that. Turning over a little bit sharper than the prograde, so come back and then decouple. There we go. And now I can lean over a lot more, have a lot more authority once that booster falls off. I do get some torsion in the other direction. I can combat that. And let's switch. These maneuvers are tricky to guide the craft and press M and load up the thing and come to this and do it all at once. It can definitely be a little bit, you gotta be a little bit of an octopus with your fingers, you know, to do all these at once, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. I'm a little lower than this 90-degree mark, which I normally, you know, don't like. I like to be as equatorial as possible, but it's not massively imperative that you do that, especially because the main difference between the moon and Minmus, apart from their altitude difference, is that Minmus is on an inclined orbit, right? So the moon has a perfectly equatorial orbit, whereas Minmus, you look, there you go, you see this kind of exit forms, it is on a pretty elliptical orbit. Oops. A little bit of a blunder there, I forgot to decouple the rockets. I think there's enough Delta V in the bank to not have to worry about that too much. And this is fine, but this profile is not the best. This profile could definitely be better. I was a little bit aggressive, so this number is climbing really slowly. We're gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with it. Sometimes your profile isn't the best, but we're just gonna go with this one. I am gonna come a little bit on that prograde marker now that I've hit 70. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more efficient. The burning in the direction of your prograde marker is always gonna be more efficient than the alternative. So because you're adding to your speed, whereas if you're burning off of your prograde marker, then you're changing your vector. Right, you're trying to go to force a ship in a direction that you're not going, so that necessarily requires more Delta V. So if we're just going for height, we're just going to do it like this. 77, 76 is circular enough for me. I also like to do my orbits a lot lower than other people do. I know I just mentioned this about the moon, but even on Kerbin, I think a lot of people like to go 80, 90, or 100k. I typically go like 75. I just go like just barely outside the atmosphere. So, burn time of 51 seconds. So we're looking at around about 25, of course. We'll warp just a little bit. Here we go. Fire it up. Yeah, I want to take the opportunity to give a little shout out to my friend in the comment section. Has been talking to me about all these episodes, been watching them and enjoying them. Acres, bravo. Really appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope you're enjoying. I'm glad you're enjoying the series, I should say. And yeah, I know it just tickles me that people are watching and that people are enjoying it. So if you also want to be my friend in the comment section, do not hesitate to come in, drop in, tell me what you think about the content, tell me what you think about the game. I don't mind talking about myself personally too, if you guys just want to have a conversation about really anything. That's kind of what I would like to set this channel up as. I mean, obviously it's a video game channel, but I've got no problem just engaging with the community in other ways too. So, okay, that's fine. Right. So what we're going to do with Minmus is set out a target, and we're going to. It's going to. I guess I haven't talked about these yet. I talked a little bit about it. Here's your descending node, and here's your ascending node, right? I did mention this. This is the point. This dotted line points exactly to where your orbit and their orbit match up in terms of the plane that they're in. Okay, because above this point is that they're higher in the orbit than we are, and here they're lower. So what you can try to do is to set up a maneuver at one of those points. And you don't have to actually change your, there we go. You don't actually have to change your inclination, because when he passes over in the same plane that we're already going, we can grab him right there, which it actually turns out this works perfectly. I will be doing more plane change maneuvers in the future, so I don't mind the fact that we kind of got a little lucky with this one. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I'm glad it did. Otherwise, we'd have to do a plane change and everything, and that's a whole nother beast. But today we're just going to do this. I'm going to kind of look around a little bit and see if we can get it any better. This is fine. This is fine. That is a 1 and 40-second burn. Let me go ahead and turn my craft over, because we're still with this bottom stage, which is pretty heavy. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of pre-maneuver my craft. Again, I mentioned before, you can kind of time warp, and then that kind of like locks the craft stops rotating. It turns the physics off on the game is what's happening there. The game, it's too complicated for the game to calculate physics on all the different parts of the craft and do time warp at the same time. So there's two different types of warp, right? There's the warp that we're in now, and there's physics warp. And physics warp is what you see when you're in the atmosphere or when you're accelerating, where the game can calculate all those things at once, but it reduces how many things you can calculate. I mean, how fast you can warp is what I'm trying to say. So you have to warp a little slower. So that's the difference between the two warps. In fact, that's what happened a couple episodes ago whenever I landed those two crafts and one of them crashed into the ground, is because when I landed and I warped, I was expecting physics warp, and the game would have calculated that she had landed safely. But I didn't do that. I just warped when I was on the ground, which is a different type of warp. And the game, the only calculation it did was to calculate that she had died. So it was the wrong calculation. Anyway, 1 minute 40 seconds is, that's 100 seconds, right? So I need to be at 50. Enough talking. There we go. 54, 53, 52. Get back on the node and fire. There we go. Let's hop in the craft or hop in this mode. I kind of wish you could do staging in the other view, and maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe you can, I don't know. I'm sure there's a mod that'll let you do that otherwise. But you have to switch to this view to actually to do the staging. Another consequence of that is what happened a minute ago, where I kind of wasted a lot of fuel. There we go. Carrying up those side boosters with me. Remember, I didn't decouple those side boosters fast enough, and as a result, of course, the craft was heavier and wasted a lot of Delta V carrying those things up into space. I don't actually know how long that lasted. You can go back and rewatch the video, I guess, and maybe you know. I guess I'll find out when I edit the video, but for some length of time, I had those boosters on me, and I didn't need them. And a fate which could have been avoided had I been able to stage from here and have keep an eye on where those boosters were in terms of how much fuel they had left. Looks like I'm also going to get a moon interceptor here. Look, a moon encounter. Now, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to go here and land, and the moon will be somewhere else by that time. But this would be a lot of fun. to fly away out here, grab an intercept of Minmus, come back, hit an intercept of the moon, maybe do a little bit of use the moon's gravity to sling you back to Kerbin in a nice like a free return trajectory, something like that. Would be a lot of fun. All right, let me stop it. Ooh, all right. Getting a little wonky with the thing, so I'm just gonna burn prograde, and that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so that's what we're looking at now. Yeah, nice. Oh, it's a pretty low periaps too. Cool. You may notice I just say periaps sometimes. I think a lot of people do that. It's periapsis, but I pronounce it periaps. Sometimes I don't put the cis in there. Sometimes I do. I guess I'm self-conscious. I guess that's why I brought that up. Anyway, let's turn this craft towards the sun so it makes sure she's getting plenty of sunlight. And let's also quick save. At this point, I may have made a mistake and don't realize it yet. It also may be too far for me to do anything about. Let's warp. Let's just let the game warp so I don't pass it up. When you're on these long ones like this, your craft tends to go pretty slow. Here we are going less than 200 meters a second here in a second. And as a result, you can when you come in around the moon, your craft speeds up and you can just slingshot. In fact, I think we saw that in an earlier episode where I did it around Kerbin. So I always get a little nervous when we get close to the bodies that I'm gonna pass it up. There we go. Push it a little closer. All right. Go ahead and set up a retrograde orientation. And while I'm here, let's go ahead and do some science. Well, I've made I could have brought... should have used this opportunity to bring a scientist, now that I'm thinking about it. So we can reset some of the experiments, but it's alright. I'm going to save the Science Junior for when we land, because I expect that more frequently I'll be in orbit of Minmus than I will be landed on Minmus. So I'd rather get the landed science first, and then I'm sure in the future when I come back I'll get the in space above one. But Mystery Goo, I can grab one while I'm in space. Yeah, we get 25 science for that. And the barometer, here we go, 30 for that. Surprisingly more for the barometer. And the thermometer, I can grab those and I can use this to... oh, in fact, I could do the crew report too. I could take a crew report. It's 12.5. And I should be able to do an EVA report. There you go, 20 more. Hop back in. And then now I should be able to collect them in this container. And most of those are the ones I can redo. There we go. So good little chunk of science. Thank you, Valentina. Your efforts will not go unnoticed. And let's bring her down. So nice little orbit here. This is going to be fine. I'm already pointing retrograde, so I should be able to turn instability on. Hold that orientation. Press Z to fire it up. We're already going pretty slow, but we need to go a little bit slower to not escape the grasp of Minmus. Check on the fuel. Looking good on the fuel. I think it'll be okay. Again, getting out of Minmus's SOI is not very hard, so. Start slowing it down. There we go. Now, to be a little bit more efficient, I'm going to wait until I get over here and bring down my periapsis. And also, that'll have the added benefit, of course, of landing on the light side of the moon. So, let's wait until we come all the way over here. And burn retrograde. I gotta swing the camera around so I can see a little bit better. barely burning at all. Now I'm traveling clockwise now, so I need to be aware that I am coming this way. So I would rather this periapsis be a little bit... Well, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. It looks like I'm going to land in these lowlands, which I would really like. Sorry, I'm having a hard time with the camera. Okay. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit more, because this could be kind of shallow. It's going to be kind of steep coming in like that. I'd rather be a little bit more shallow to the planet. There we go, like that. So I'm just intersecting. You see right here, the line is clipping through this mountain right here. That's going to give me some time where I'm floating above this lowlands to do the things that I need to do. So let's go ahead and save, and let's check my map real quick. Yeah, oh yeah, over 1,000 Delta V, we're fine. I have been a little concerned that earlier my inefficiency with my launch profile was going to cause a problem, but I think I'm just being over careful. Where is the... Oh, here it is. Hello. Alright. Now just to confirm, am I over the correct... Okay. Let's warp a little further. Now these kind of lowland areas are great because they are flat. So you don't have to worry about landing on an uncomfortable surface. Let's turn this surface on. You have the orbit and the surface, right? Let's go switch it to surface. Let's switch it to retrograde. And the camera, kind of an awkward camera right now, but in a minute it'll be a little bit better. And we are going really slow, 225, so I shouldn't have to burn a whole ton. But we're going to do it the same way we did before, where I'm going to kill my lateral velocity first. So I'm going to turn a stability assist on, and I'm going to point towards the equator. I'm trying to land kind of in this area. So I'm going to warp just a little bit further. Okay, let's go ahead and kill my lateral velocity. Push that retrograde marker up to the top of the nav ball. And see if I can fall straight down. Let's go ahead and turn on open up the gears. The landing struts. The prograde marker, or retrograde marker rather, kind of disappears. You know you're close. I can kind of follow like this. Now the further you are away, I may be over-explaining things at this point. I think a lot of people know what's going on here, but just to say it, the further you are away from the marker, the more you are towards the equator, the more of the lateral velocity you're killing. But as I have to follow this marker up, of course I'm killing my horizontal, my vertical velocity as well, which isn't a big deal. But I'm already going pretty slow, so I don't want to waste too much fuel burning that way. Alright, and let's turn terrain mode on, because we don't know how deep this thing is. I don't want to get a bad reading. I love that they added this feature. I haven't played this game since this feature was added. Until now, so. We'll come down to about 2K. 2 kilometers up, and then we'll get an idea of... I'm going to bump the throttle a little bit and kind of see how fast my craft slows down. Alright, let's see. Okay, it doesn't slow down terribly fast, so I'm going to bring it down to about 50. There we go. But I'm not gaining speed very quickly either, so... let's try to get my lateral velocity, kill that a little bit more. There we go. Now, when we use Mech or a Kerbal Engineer here in the future, I haven't been using it too much in this series, but I do like it. Everybody uses it, and I will be using it. But when you use that, it has a nice little calculation for suicide burns, and would be a more efficient way to do exactly what I'm doing here. That would be optimal. All right, bring it down. Boop. There we go. And I was confident. You saw it was a little bit maybe uncontrolled. A lot of times I like to get real low and then like kill my velocity and just slowly float down. But that time I saw that the my meters a second was going to be down around 5 or 6 by the time I actually made a touchdown. So I didn't worry about slowing it down any further than that. So yeah, it worked out perfectly. We've got a beautiful landing. Yeah, look at that. Vast emptiness. But anyway, over here we have some mountains, and I'm sure if I were Valentina in this moment, I would be agog. But at any rate, let's go ahead and do some science while we're here. We're not here to be agog, we're here to do work. So get to it, Valentina. Let's go ahead and observe the Mystery Bay. Excuse me. 125. Juicy science. Let's close those doors. I don't like looking at them open. Let's open these up. And I should be able to... Here's the goo right here. Fantastic. Grab pressure from down here. Grab temperature from down here. And close those doors. You know what? Let's go ahead and collect all these as well. Well, I'll do it when I get the EVA report. I forgot about that. Let's do an EVA. Grab the EVA report. Something I meant to do is upgrade the the space center so that way you can do surface samples. In fact, I may have done that. I don't remember. I don't think I did though. But anyway, you get signs for that too. There we go. Touchdown. Let's just see. No, I didn't. Plant flag. She gets experience for doing that. She looks thrilled to be doing it too. Alright, so here we are. We'll just keep the same naming convention as before. We're at landing zone 1. Plaque text is first Minmus landing. There we go. I should probably attribute him to who did it too. I put a little Valentina's name. There we go. She would abbreviate it. Alright, and unfortunately there's not a whole lot to do here. She kind of twirls her arms around and we look around and then we get back in the ship and go home. Not a whole ton to do. Wow, just jumping does that much to you. So yeah, it's a very small planet. Very small, low gravity field. I love using these jetpacks. The same thing with like docking and stuff. That's why docking is my favorite. Using the lateral controls, I love those. It's a lot of fun. Let's open this up and collect all. Reason I'm doing that is that this thing has a pretty good tolerance. Like if this craft crashes for some reason, well, I would restart it, but just to form good habits. If this craft crashed or whatever, this has a pretty good chance of surviving still. So having all of your science in there is not a bad idea. Well, there we go. Nothing else to do on the planet except for to go home. So we're going to do the same as before. I'm looking at the nav ball to see where my 90-degree mark is, and it's right here. Right, so I need to press W. I need to think about it real quick when I launch. So SAS on, Z, turn over. At 20 or 30 degrees, pull up the struts, and oh yeah, look at that. I might not even circularize. I might just get a nice, good apparatus here. That's fine. Warp all the way over there. I'm not even going to orbit. I'm just going to burn out there and then burn the rest of it. Oops. Warping is taking forever because I'm just slowly leaving the planet. Wow, like really slowly. It's coming. Let me get some water real quick. There we go. And let the game warp there. Go ahead and select my prograde. You guys have all seen this before. Come out to apparatus, select your prograde, and burn to leave the planet 609 meters a second. Should be fine. The only thing is I don't want to hit an intercept with Kerbin. I don't think I will. I'm sorry, with the moon. I do want to hit intercept with Kerbin. Okay. Now the only thing left to worry about is whether or not I'll be able to reduce my periapsis enough to intercept the planet, or to get a capture with the planet. Come all the way back in apoapsis, turn around retrograde, select the periapsis marker so I can see it, and let's start burning. Oh yeah, we're good. Again, I might get an encounter here. I don't think I will. That's gonna be too. He's gonna be over. Oh, I know. We'll go it over there. Now that's a whole nother beast that we're gonna have to handle in the future. 50. I like 48, 47. There you go. 46 is fine. Turn on SAS just in case. Save some battery power, and let's gently warp over there. Let's let the game do it. Using the sphere of influences of other planets to change your trajectories, right? So that's kind of a big thing, quote unquote, late game. Because the delta V requirements to go to some of these planets is just astronomical. So it's handy to be able to fling yourself to other planets with other planets. So that is a feature that we'll be getting into before too long. That's definitely a lot of fun, and you feel really accomplished whenever you manage to pull one of those off. But here we go. Before I get any lower, let's go ahead and turn her around. It's always dark when you come back. Apologize for that. Oh wait, these still have stuff in them. Oh, I have a ton of fuel because this guy is still full too. Wow. This is only calculating this stage. Once I decouple these, this will still be full. So yeah, I have a ton of Delta V left. Wow, way more than I thought I had. That's okay. Same as before, let's warp to periapsis. I know this craft is going to survive, so I'm not going to worry about looking at it in the other view. There we go, and go ahead and burn. I went a little bit further than I'd like, but it's okay. And we'll do the rest of it on the next pass. I'll kill it real quick, and we'll do it the rest of it on the next pass. I like to make 2 passes. I don't think you really need more than that. Not normally. Sometimes you do. Depends on your profile. I don't think you really need more than 2 passes, and 1 pass can get a little dicey. Coming in low enough to where 1 pass will capture you can, especially when you're as far out as Minmus, you're coming in pretty hot. Yeah, it can be tricky. Let's go ahead and warp all the way around. Alright, so I can use this opportunity, since we're doing this, we've all seen this before, take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the plans for the rest of this week. I'm going to try to record all my videos this week, today, while I have time in the house by myself. There we go, I can go ahead and start burning now, because I have so much fuel. By the time I get to periapsis, it'll be whatever. Oh yeah, look at that. Right, so we've gone to Minmus, and just to say that we did, and to get the science that we're going to get from it. And then we have all those missions that we picked up. I'd like to also think about, before too long, doing a space station around Kerbal. Just enough for a couple of scientists. And I might put a science lab up there as well, which we haven't talked about yet. I don't think I have it unlocked yet, but at this point I have so much science that I would be surprised if I did. If I had enough at this point. I'm gonna go and kill the burn, so I don't go any lower, because I want to do the rest of this in daylight. I might be able to soft land this thing at this point. This is that physics warp I was talking about earlier. You only have the 4 bars, it only goes up to ×4. but it is actually calculating physics on the craft, so. There we go. I still don't like to do some things physics warp. There we go. Just in case, but normally everything's okay. Yeah, that was a breeze of a re-entry. That's one of the better re-entries that we've seen, right? We've gone to the moon, I think, 3 times? Yeah, we've intercepted, circularized, and landed on the moon, and we've gone to Minmus. So the 4th time going out to one of the moons and coming back, and I think that was the best. I think that was the cleanest of all of the re-entries. Really happy with that one. Oh, anyway, so yeah, we get a little laboratory in space. Now what you can do is you can use data. When you return to science, you also get data. And you can use that data in a laboratory and turn it into even more science. So you can get quite a lot of science from these labs in space, which is, I mean, just like it is in real life, right? So getting a laboratory up there, putting a couple scientists in it, and just letting them float around Kerbin over and over and over again, getting science is pretty handy, pretty efficient, pretty economical way to get science. It's also fun to do, to actually build the thing in space. It's pretty cool to have up there. And then the other thing that we have to think about as well is that you have signal strength, right? Now, these craft have enough of an antenna. I put one on here just in case. But these craft themselves have enough of antenna to where you can remain in contact with KSC, I think, until you get out to Minmus. I'm actually not sure. Somebody can tell me in the comments. I forget if it's Minmus or the far side of the moon. But at some point, you start losing signal strength. Now, I have a person. I have a Kerbal with me. So it's not vitally important. Let me slow down. That I have signal strength. You won't be able to plan maneuvers if you don't have uplink. But if you have a maneuver planned, you can still... it doesn't go away. You can still use that maneuver. So anyway, you can't plan maneuvers if you don't have uplink. And if you are in a remote-controlled craft, then you can't do anything at all, because that remote control is assuming that you're controlling it from Kerbin. So if you don't have comlink with it, you can't use it. So the next thing we need to think about is putting relay dishes in space and putting them in such an orbit that where pretty much no matter where we are, we're going to have uplink to KSC. So that's another thing I'm thinking about doing this in the next couple of episodes. 485 science from that, for a grand total of 1013, 1014 if you're this calculator. Neat. Parts resource, got some money back. Yeah, we've got almost 2 million funds, so money is not going to be a problem in this playthrough. Valentina's got a bunch of experience for that, so she's at level 2 now. So at level 2, real quick, I wonder if I think it shows it here. Here we go. She can do a stability assist, prograde and retrograde hold, radial and normal attitude hold, and it says full vessel control without comnet access. So, which I think... No, the other... Yeah, you can do that at level 1 too. Yeah, full vessel control without comnet access. Anyway, so yeah, now I have different holds for radial, normal, and for radial and normal. When you level up further, you get target hold as well. So when you plan a maneuver, she'll actually hold it on that target for you, which right now she won't do, but in the future she will, and that's really cool too. So we also need to level up these guys a little bit, but yeah, I've been trying to get it nice and even, level everybody up. In playthroughs that I've done on my own, I've neglected to do that, and I typically have like Jeb's 5 and then everybody else isn't. And if something ever happens to Jeb, or if he's in space, then the next time I go to fly a ship, I'm like, whoa, where'd all my stuff go? So I'm trying to level these up evenly. So that was fun. Last thing we'll do in this episode is look at mission control and see if we gained anything. Looks like we didn't. I guess these are a little bit different. So more recover and rescue missions, ferry missions, and whatever else. Oh, let me do this real quick while I'm wrapping up the video. Let me do this real quick, just because I don't want to have to do it at the beginning of another video. Hopper Mark 1, load him up. And what is that mission that I have? The TD-25. Boink. Launch. And we can go ahead and complete this mission just for a little extra fun. And put that on a different stage. I'm not even going to launch it. There we go. Complete. Recover. Okay, there we go. Another mission down. Those little landed at Kerbin missions, man, those can't be simpler. So just always go ahead and grab those and do them. I'll tuck it in at the end of the video here. Get a little bit extra money. I don't know where it shows it. I got money for that. Contract complete. 30 grand. And 4 science and 7 reputation. So, oh no, that was the heat shield one. These are the old ones, I'm sorry. Whatever, I got money for it. There we go, 1 science, 1 reputation, and almost 5 grand. So, very cool. Really appreciate you guys being here. Again, thanks to anybody who's commenting in the comment section, helping me out, hanging out with me. Yeah, help me out too. But really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Yeah, it really brightens up my day to see comments and to see interactions with that and to see that people are actually enjoying it. As much as I enjoy making this game. I mean, I'm lucky enough to actually get to play a game and have people interested in that, so that's a lot of fun. Thanks a ton. Really appreciate it. And we're going to do some fun next episode too, so tune in, and I'll see you then.